Do you truly believe Terry doesn't like truly, like all honesty? Do you believe Terry doesn't want to be in Washington?
Yeah, I think he hates Jaden.
I think he would. I think if he
That's
really
what I
wanted
know
to be
you're
there,
playing.
I think if he really wanted to be there, he would be there.
What's up, guys? I'm JJ,
I'm Javier.
I'm Jack.
and this is PM Football. Today we are going to be going through the make or break players for the 2025 season in the NFL. We've each got a player for each position group. We're going to go down the line, talk about whether or not we think they are going to make their season or break their season. So we're going to start off with the quarterbacks. Let's start over with you, Angel.
Yeah, so my make or break quarterback for the upcoming season is Anthony Richardson. It hasn't been looking that good for him. They brought in Daniel Jones to compete with him for the starting spot. Anthony Richardson might not even be the starting quarterback halfway through the year. He really needs to make a statement this year to show the Colts organization that he is the guy they chose in the first round and he could be the savior of the franchise.
Yeah, like you mentioned, like he might not even be able to start the
Yeah.
season. Like he's injured right now.
Yeah.
So
right now, Danny Dimes is taking all the first team reps.
yeah, and it's not even just the injury necessarily, like you were saying, or like I was saying. It's been his play. His play has been awful.
Statistically, one of the worst quarterbacks since 2000.
Yeah.
And there's several stats to go off that shows that. And I know you shouldn't base things off stats, but when the play on the field isn't looking good and the stats aren't looking good either, it's like you're really on your last leg, which he is. And if I were to predict whether he makes or breaks it this season, honestly, like I'm not wishing bad on him or anyone on this list, but I don't think he's really gonna show the Colts this year that he is worthy of a first round pick and that he is their franchise.
And Daniel
guy.
Jones is good competition too. Like
Says
realistically,
the Giants fan.
realistically, Daniel Jones isn't a bad backup option to have.
as a backup,
And it's
but,
gonna push Anthony
he's
Richardson.
about to be their starter,
Yeah, but
which isn't good.
and it's gonna push Anthony Richardson in a good way though.
Will it though? Like he tapped out of a game last year. Like is that gonna push him?
Yeah, no, I mean, and going back to what you were saying, like, not only was he a first round pick, he was the 5th pick in the draft,
I think fourth
or the whatever the top. He was a
you're
top 5 pick.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was a late first round guy
No.
that they took a chance on. They were swinging for the
They
fences.
sat there, watched his film all off season, and said, "We think this could be the guy that could take us to where we want to be," and he hasn't. Like not even close. It's one thing if like, and we're gonna spend more time than I wanted to on this, but like it would be one thing if it's like a Justin Fields situation where it's all right. Like some games he looks really good, and sometimes he doesn't. Like he just hasn't looked good at all.
Yeah, I don't have any faith in him.
Me neither. Sadly and unfortunately.
It's your turn, Jack.
All right,
Yeah.
so I'm going with Tua as my boomer bust player. I just feel like the Dolphins didn't get much better this offseason. So it's going to be a big year for Tua, especially signing a big contract, which he's in until at least 2027, I think. So it's going to be a big year for him. I don't know how confident I am that he's going to be let go if he doesn't have a great year, but I still think this has to be the year that he has to show out, because if the Dolphins aren't good this year, they're going to be in perfect position to draft a quarterback if they're picking in the top 5. So it's going to be hard for them not to pick a quarterback if they're picking that high. So it's just going to be a big year for him.
I mean, kind of to the point, like you were saying, like if they end up with a top 5 pick, they're bringing in a new staff. There's no way they don't get fired.
Yeah.
It comes to the point of, does this new regime want to keep a quarterback like that who hasn't really shown that he will lead you to the playoffs? Now I know he plays in a really tough division with the Bills at the top, and it's hard to win the division. You can't say like we've won 6 years in a row. No one's even come close
Which
to
is
winning
why,
it.
yeah, it's hard for a sucky team like the Dolphins, but like I wouldn't say
No.
it's a hard division when there's only one good team in that entire division.
But what I'm trying to say is it's hard to win the division, let alone make the playoffs from that division because you play.
And I think that's his whole point on why it's a make
He's
or
just in a
break
really
year.
bad situation.
Yeah, it's because of
No, I
everything
agree.
that's built around him and his play as well at times.
No, I
That
agree.
it's like, yeah, this is a make or break year for him.
Do you think he does or doesn't?
I don't think he's going to be – well, I think he's going to bust. That's what –
Oh, is that right?
yeah, I don't think he's going to be the quarterback. I can make a bold prediction and say he's not going to be the quarterback going into next year after this
Really?
season.
Didn't they just pay
I don't
him
think
like
they will.
last offseason?
That's what I'm saying.
But, like, I don't know. It's a quarterback. Like if he doesn't play good, it doesn't matter how much you paid him.
I think even if, I mean, it depends how much he underperforms, but I think it's a lot more likely that if the team as a whole underperforms, I think it's a lot more likely they just move on with the coaching staff and stuff and keep him at quarterback and just bring in new staff rather than like, all right, clear house, he's gone.
Yeah, it's gonna depend how he plays.
Yeah.
Like if he plays okay, even okay, like we saw with Daniel Jones and the Giants, like he was playing okay,
especially with the whole money situation. Like,
and they were blaming the team around him, the offensive line around him. I could see the same thing happening with Tua, but if he just goes out there and plays like garbage, it's gonna be hard not to replace him, especially if they have like a top 3 pick.
definitely.
Yeah. All right. Kind of similar to the quarterback you just chose. I'm going with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence signed a massive extension in 2023 or 2024. It was a 5-year, $275 million extension. It's just to the point where last year he didn't play great and there was pretty high expectations for him. Brian Thomas turned out to be a stud. And even with Brian Thomas being a stud, he just didn't really do anything else outside of that. Their team was terrible. And that's why they brought in a new coaching staff. And this is part of the reason as to why I have Trevor Lawrence on this list to begin with, is if they feel like Trevor Lawrence is a quarterback that isn't going to be able to help them get to the playoffs, they might try to get off of his money early and try to trade him potentially, especially if they end up in a position where they have a top 5 pick. This quarterback class is going to be a pretty good one, we think, so far. And
Allegedly, yes.
At this moment in time,
Yeah.
it's looking like a pretty good quarterback class. Mm-hmm. If you have an opportunity, like you were saying with the Dolphins, with Tua, if you have an opportunity to take a quarterback that high in the draft, you probably should, because the quarterback you have right now is not helping you. And to my point even more with the Jaguars, they've surrounded him with weapons at this point. Travis Etienne has Trevor Etienne? Is Travis Etienne. Travis Etienne is kind of underperformed at this point, but having a stud like Brian Thomas and you drafting Travis Hunter, like you've got to be able to perform with those receivers. And I know I won't forget about De'Ami Brown. They bring in De'Ami Brown on a 1-year deal.
Have fun with that.
But I mean, you can't say
3 games.
you can't say that there aren't pieces around him for him to be successful. On top of the fact that you brought in a very good offensive-minded head coach. So again, if they don't really perform with how they should, I think that they might try to cut ties with him. And in my opinion, I think he might be fine. I think he does survive it. I think he has a good season, kind of has a bounce back season, proves himself worthy of that contract. And I think the Jaguars are taking a step this year.
I think he's going to bounce back this year too. I think he's going to be able to, like you said, with all of his weapons, I think he's going to be able to finally show the player he was when he got drafted. So, at least I hope so, because I was a huge Trevor Lawrence fan.
I actually agree with you guys here. I do think not only that if any season he does perform well, it would be this season exactly for the reasons you were saying, JJ, because of the weapons around him and because he has offensive-minded head coach. I would say if I had to bet, I would think it is a make season for him. I think he will do well. However, I'm still not a fan of the head coach.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really not. I'm hoping the head coach doesn't get in the way of his success. And maybe it won't, but I'm not a fan of the head coach. But I think Trevor himself will play well this season.
I just want final piece of this. If you can make Baker Mayfield look like a top 10 quarterback last year with Trevor Lawrence as good as he is with all the talent he has, I think he can do
like
better
you said,
than
like
Baker.
they have the weapons. They have weapons.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to the running back position. I'll start it over here since you started last time.
Yep.
I have Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams kind of had a rough go in Denver the last couple seasons. He had a couple injuries, and he just never really found his footing. He had a really good rookie year, and then just kind of fell off after that. I think his contract just ran up, or he was either released by the Broncos and was signed by the Cowboys this year. He's on a 1-year prove-it deal with them and has every opportunity to be their number 1 starting running back. And if he can't do that with this running back group, then I think it's time to give it up on him, because he's going to have every opportunity. I understand that they drafted Jaden Blue and there's promise there for him, but I don't think he'll ever be the number 1 running back type in the NFL. I think he's more of a third down kind of weapon to have. He's not going to be taking 25 carries a game. That's kind of the Javonte role that they're hoping he can do for them. Now, if he can't do that, then again, I think it's time for him to kind of wrap it up, and he's just going to be a backup running back for the rest of his career. So if I had to guess right now, I would say he makes it just because he is literally one of the only options in that room. And if he's going to get 20 touches a game, I would hope he'd be able to get at least 80-ish yards a game. And if he's able to do that, that's a serviceable running back and maybe buy himself another contract with them. What do you guys think?
I was a big Javonte Williams fan when he got drafted, kind of like I said about Trevor Lawrence.
I'm going to interrupt you. Big is an understatement. Didn't correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure you made a statement like he has the chance to be the best running back of all time
No,
in the draft
okay,
process.
that was the year that it was Najee, right?
I can't
That was
remember.
I'm pretty sure
Was
that was
the
it was
year of
that draft
Najee?
class. I mean, Najee hasn't been great, but I was very sure that I kept saying that Javonte Williams was better than Najee. But I feel like hasn't Javonte dealt with some injuries though?
Yeah, he has.
Possibly, yeah.
But yeah, I was a big Javonte fan. Huge Javonte fan actually coming out of the draft.
All right, back
And he
to
was
your
good
point,
though. He was good though his rookie year.
That's what I'm saying. If he can get back to that form and prove that he is a number one running back, like he can get himself a nice little contract from Dallas, who has nothing there in that room. What do you think?
Sorry, did you even finish your point?
Yeah, I was just saying
Okay.
basically that I liked him and
Got it. Honestly, I don't think it's gonna work out for him.
Understandably.
Dallas has struggled. Like the last time they were good in the run game was like prime Zeke. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. Like the last time Dallas's run game was remotely a threat was prime Zeke. which
Tony Pollard was
so-
fine.
Fine, but I wouldn't say you're not keeping defensive coordinators up at night.
Yeah.
Figuring out, all right, how are we gonna stop this run game?
yeah, I wasn't scared of Tony Pollard.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like,
Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to be scared of Javonte Williams,
Yeah,
but if
no, I
he
get
can
you.
be a top 15 running back, that's about all you need is a unit
Yeah.
that has a good passing game already.
Look, you know how much I like Tyler Booker, but the fact is they lost a Hall of Fame offensive lineman. You can't really bank on Tyler Booker coming in and having that same level of talent on the offensive line. Javonte Williams just hasn't really showed he could be that home run hit of a running back. And I don't think Dallas is going to really change that for him. I think we know what he is. And if I had to choose or bet on it, I don't think he's going to do that well this year. I think he'll be what he has been in the league, which is average at best.
All right. Let's keep things rolling here.
My running back is DeAndre Swift. I'll say that again. DeAndre Swift. I think that this is a huge year for him, especially a lot of Bears fans were very disappointed with him last year after signing a really big contract for him. I just think it's going to be really hard. Or it's going to be a really big year for him, and I don't think that he's going to be able to make it because they still have Roshan Johnson behind him. I think they have somebody else too.
They drafted Kyle Monangai.
Yeah, and I like him a lot. But I just don't think. I think there's a lot of pressure on him this year, especially. Like everything's pointing in the direction that he should have a good year because of the O-line being a lot better. Them actually, hopefully, Caleb Williams can step up this year. But I don't know. I really, it's hard for me to believe in DeAndre Swift after having a very subpar season last year. I think he almost got 1,000 yards, but like he got paid like top running back money. So like
Yeah.
he should be over 1,000 yards.
It's kind of a Ryan Pauls thing.
Yeah,
He has a
he-
tendency of doing that.
But yeah, like I said, I feel like the signs are kind of pointing in that direction. I feel like this is kind of like the opposite situation from Javonte Williams. Like DeAndre Swift's had good years and like he's already kind of proven, but like this is kind of the year where he has to bounce back to his original form when Javonte's really not really like done much. But yeah, I don't think he's gonna make it. I don't think this is gonna be a great year for him. But yeah, what do you guys think?
I agree with you pretty much with everything you said. I don't know. I just feel like the Bears have taken steps to kind of be prepared for DeAndre Swift to not be their running back of the future or even their running back for the entire season. I mean, I don't want to sound like what's the word? Not pity, but like bring up the past or anything. But like his running backs coach is Eric Bieniemy. Like all I'm saying is like just from past experience and personal experience, don't really trust the man that much. But yeah, I don't know. It's just I don't think he's gonna really cement himself as their number one running back throughout the season.
Now, the thing with him is like you guys mentioned, like you had literally just mentioned this. I don't know if he's a number one, but the good thing is they brought in Ben Johnson, who has had success with a 2 running back system. Now I don't know whether or not that means they're gonna have Roshan be that other guy, or maybe even Kyle Monangai. They were the ones rumored to sign Nick Chubb, and they didn't. So that might be a little bit showing faith that they have faith in Swift still, and I think this could work out. I think Ben Johnson coming in there, they're going to run the ball. Like that's going to be their identity. They did it in Detroit all season, all the seasons he was there. I think that there's a legitimate chance he could become. I mean, like it's just tough because I don't want to call him Jahmyr Gibbs, but that's going to have to be the role he's playing in this offense.
He's going to be the poor man's Jahmyr Gibbs.
He's going to, because he's not the David Montgomery.
No, absolutely
and
not.
so, I mean, that's going to be either Roshan or Monangai.
I definitely see that's more of a Roshan.
Yeah. But I think it could work out, especially he's a great pass catcher. He just never really had opportunities to do it because they had one of the worst head coaches of all time.
I definitely think it could work out, but it's just, I don't know. Like you said, like it's just the running backs coming in and all that stuff. So
and it's back to what Jack was saying. It's different than the Javonte thing because DeAndre did have success earlier in his career to where it's not necessarily a can you show us if you could do it because we have seen him do it. It's can you do it again?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we know he has the talent. It's can you unlock that talent again?
He's not going to be back to his original form. I don't think
so either. Yeah. All right. Now my guy that's make or break for the running backs is Brian Robinson, my starting running back. He hasn't surpassed 800 yards in his career. I know as a rookie he missed the first few games because he was shot at, but still you haven't surpassed 800 yards even the years you were healthy and not shot at. Jaden was our leading rusher last year. You don't really want your rookie quarterback to be your leading rusher, especially when you're in your third year as a running back. And it's a contract year for Brian Robinson, so that's another reason why he is my make or break player. If I were to choose, as much as I want him to succeed, like so bad, I think we know what he is. He's a guy that's going to give you high 700 number yards, give you a decent amount of touchdowns, and will be inconsistent throughout the season. I really hope I'm wrong. I would love nothing more than for him to have 1,000 yards and earn a contract with us, but I just don't really see that happening. I think we know what he is, so I think it's going to be the same Brian Robinson we've been dealing with.
I hope so.
He's not that. I want to specify, like, he's not bad. It's not like Brian Robinson's a bad running back. I just view him more as like he would be one of the best running back 2s in the league.
Yeah,
he would be the perfect number 2 for DeAndre Swift. That's what they're missing.
I don't know for DeAndre Swift, but I could see him being the perfect 2 to like another talented running back.
Yeah, but like just a player like that in general. Now, it's kind of tough for me to include Brian Robinson on a list like this just because, like you've said, we know what he is.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm not sitting here saying that it can't technically be a make or break year for him because it is a contract year, correct?
Yeah, it is a contract
year
for him.
He could just turn up and be really good. But you literally said it yourself. We know what he is. So
I see your point.
I just think that if we were going to see a Brian Robinson breakout, it might have happened last year just because he was kind of the running back.
Not kind of. I mean, his entire career, he's been the running back.
But that's what I mean. Like, you would just feel like it would have happened already, is what I'm trying to say. I feel like
that's why it could be this year. Because at least with last year, it was a new system he was in. We signed Eckler. Not saying Eckler was signed to be the running back 1, but at least with Dan Quinn, like, he just preaches competition. So, like, he wasn't really given the running back 1 position, especially with Eckler coming in. And, like, the main focus was really Jaden. Like, we wanted to see what we had in a rookie. I feel like with this year, it's the same system, the same coaches. Like, you know what you're getting yourself into. It's a contract year. I feel like if he were to have a breakout year, it would be this year. But I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately.
I agree with you. I think we get another 700-yard season.
Yes.
And they either decide this is what we're going to live with and give him a tiny contract, or
It's unfortunate though, because like they don't really need him to go crazy. Like that's the thing. Like they don't really
Yeah.
need him to do anything like exceptional.
Yeah, if he does go stupid and go crazy, it would just be like a cherry on top.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it would be. I mean, it would help out the offense significantly, but yeah, I agree. It's not. I mean, we did it last year. Like, yeah.
all right.
Back
you again.
to me, my receiver that I have chosen that is my make or break player is Quentin Johnston for the Chargers. His main problem is that he just keeps dropping balls. Now, he did improve last year, which was his second year, but I still think this is his make or break year, especially Ladd McConkey looking really good like he did last year. They drafted Trey Harrison the second round this year. It's just a lot of competition for him.
They also brought in Mike Williams.
Exactly. He just can't afford to keep dropping balls and being a cancer to the offense when all these new weapons are coming into that offense. And it's already a Jim Harbaugh offense where you know they're going to run the ball a lot. So that's even less targets for you. You have to take advantage of your targets, and he hasn't been doing that. He has no choice. Like, he has to step it up this year or else he's out. And if I were to predict, I don't think he's really gonna improve that much. Like I said, they're bringing in talent to compete against him, and I think the people they brought in are better than him. So therefore, I think this is probably his last year with them. I won't be surprised if they either try to trade him or just release him next offseason.
Yeah.
But if I were to predict how it goes this year, I think it's like his first 2 years, and it's just not gonna go that well.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna make it. I think he has a lot of pressure, like you said, like with all these new guys, especially my boy Ladd McConkey. But yeah, I don't think he's gonna make it. I don't see a lot in him, and I don't see him getting much better.
I'll be completely honest with you. I think he's phased out of the offense by halfway through the season.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I
honestly
don't
wouldn't.
even like. You bring back Mike Williams, who has had a little bit of success with you guys.
But
in the
you at
past.
least know he's consistent. Like, he
Yes.
showed that consistency.
But those are the same type. That was the whole reason of drafting a Quentin Johnston, was to replace Mike Williams.
Yeah.
And it's been so bad that they decided to bring back
let's
Mike
bring-
Williams.
who's like over 30 or something.
Yeah,
like
and has just had injury after injury. And then again, they spent a second round draft pick on a receiver. Like,
after spending another second round draft pick last year on another receiver who played really well.
it's an uphill battle for him, and I don't
Yeah.
think he makes it. Again, I think he's phased out
I
of the
agree.
offense completely.
Yeah.
So my wide receiver is kind of a controversial pick, but mine's Deebo Samuel for his make or break year. Obviously, he's been an All-Pro before. He's been to Pro Bowls. He's had success, but with a new team and coming off a very off year, I think it's going to be a big year for him, especially with all the Terry stuff now. Like,
I ain't even worried about that, bro.
I would
like
be-
imagine if Terry, something happens to Terry
Like what?
and it's
like
just
he's traded to the Chargers.
like he's traded.
All right, look, all right.
He
Can I-
holds
can
out
I-
the rest of the season.
Can I ask you guys a question? Like, honestly, like,
Terry
What?
just doesn't want to be there.
that's
Why would he?
so,
He didn't want
this
to be there.
is so insane.
He didn't want to be there. He'd be there.
Do you
James
truly-
Cook's there.
Do you truly believe Terry doesn't, like, truly, like, all honesty, do you believe Terry doesn't want to be in Washington?
Yeah, I think he hates Jaden.
I think he would. I think if
That's
he really
right,
wanted
no,
to be
you're
there,
right.
I think if he really wanted to be there, he would be there.
Look, I'm only
Why
going
isn't
to
he
say
there?
this once because it's not with the video we're doing. Terry did this exact same thing 3 years ago when we were bums. No quarterback, no culture. If there was any time for him to leave, which a lot of Washington fans wouldn't blame him and thought he should have left because there's absolutely no sign of hope 3 years ago, he would have done it. Coming off an NFC Championship game, you have your quarterback of the future. You have the cap space to pay him. He keeps just preaching how much he loves the organization, the coaches, and the front office. It's gonna get done. I have absolutely zero concern whatsoever because this exact same thing not only happened 3 years ago, it happens to literally every other receiver that's negotiating a contract. This happens to. Like, there's literally nothing that's happened so far that is out of the normal.
This would be the funniest thing ever is if we put this out and literally within 20 minutes of
Tomorrow.
me putting it in. he's traded.
I'll even make another statement. I would not be shocked if he requests a trade. I would not be. It's all.
So he's just Myles Garrett.
It's all. He just wants the money, and give him the money. Like, just give him what he's.
So then what are they
for.
doing?
He's earned it.
So then what are they doing?
Honestly, I think, and the reports are, it's mostly about the amount of years because he is 30. You don't want to put too many years on the contract. I can see both sides. You don't want to put too many years on the contract. If you're Terry, you want the most years you could get. Like, it's all about the guaranteed money in the years. Like, I promise you, either the week before training camp or a week into training camp, we're going to see an alert saying Terry McLaurin has signed an extension and we can move on. I have absolutely zero concern about this whatsoever.
But back to his point.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Debo, this happening is good for you, though. For your Debo take, is if Terry doesn't come. Because then he might be an all-pro.
He's going to be an all-pro even with Terry.
No.
Please
so
continue.
crazy.
Please continue.
Yeah, but will you think that Debo's going to be
I know he's
all
gonna be
pro?
all-pro this year.
Which is
Fact.
which
It's
is
a fact.
insanity. But
It's really not.
yeah, I think, like I've said, big year for Debo. He's got to do something. If he like, imagine if he just doesn't perform this year. What are you guys going to do with him if he just?
Not sign him. It's a 1-year contract.
But apparently,
That was
But
a
a-
loud goal.
but apparently, you think
That
it's a
was
for sure
loud.
thing that he's going to perform.
Oh, for
he's going to be
sure,
an
yeah.
all-pro. So
For sure.
you got to be.
But
able
I'm just saying, even if
So-
he doesn't.
Which is why he's make or break.
Okay.
If
Back-
he doesn't do well, he's gone.
And I know I don't want to keep going back to the Terry thing, but this is definitely a part of the conversation for the Terry contract.
What?
What if Debo does perform and plays better?
Guess what? We got so much cap space, it doesn't even matter.
So then you're paying 2 30-year-old receivers on 4-year contracts, and then you.
We
are
said we're giving
screwed.
Debo a 4-year contract. Let's simmer down now.
If he's an all-pro, I would be shocked if he didn't get a 4-year contract.
We'll
from
worry
somebody.
about that when it happens.
Regardless,
I'm not worried about it.
I think as much as I disagree or don't disagree that
What are you saying?
I don't know. I don't think Debo's gonna make a break here is what I'm trying to say.
How?
But
How?
regardless,
How?
he's already proven he's good. He's just had a bad year
But
last
this year is a make or break year for him.
year. Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
which
Okay.
is the conversation.
Sure. Okay. I'm gonna go with he doesn't make it.
I don't think he's gonna make it either.
I don't think, and by that I mean I don't think he gets a multi-year contract next year.
It's gonna be hard. Like it's gonna be hard for him to go out there and perform like his early days. Like it's gonna be hard for him to do that.
He's been injured too. Like he's not.
And he's
Why
gained,
y'all
and he's
looking at
gained
me?
some weight.
I
He's
don't
gained
know
some
why y'all
weight.
Yeah,
looking
he's
at me.
big.
He's thrown on a couple
He's
pounds.
big,
It's just it's all out of hand here, and I just don't think.
and
he
it's
can
gonna
control it.
take. If he does good, it's gonna take away targets from Zach Ertz. And how are you gonna do that? You gonna take away targets from Zach Ertz?
Yeah. I think I care. Look.
Yeah, Noah Brown.
And yeah, Noah Brown.
What about Olamide Zaccheaus?
Not even there anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you're forgetting
The
about
ghost.
What about De'Ami Brown? What are we gonna do now without De'Ami Brown?
use Luke McCaffrey more.
We should.
Brian Robinson pounding the rock.
Yeah. It's a dream team right there.
It's not gonna work.
2-yard game.
All right, look, there's a lot I disagree with what was just said, but the main one, I kind of agree with JJ. I think, personally, this would be better fitted if this was, like, are they washed or not kind of list. Like JJ was saying, like, even if you don't think he's going to be good this year, he's at least shown, like, hey, he was this, this, and this, and it was just one kind of off season where literally the entire team was off. So, I mean, we'll see. Obviously, if you've been watching our channel or our TikToks, you know how I feel how Debo's going to do this year. I think he's going to be an all-pro. And I have facts to back up my argument. I'm not going to say those facts because we literally made an entire video about it.
Just go back
So
and
go
watch
check
it.
that
Go
out.
Go
just
back and
check
watch
out
it.
the video. But I think he's going to do good this year. And I'll just leave it at that.
All right.
I think he's going to do good this year.
Moving on to my wide receiver that I think is in a make or break season, that is Mr. George Pickens. He was just traded from the Steelers to the Cowboys. He's in a contract here. He needs to prove that his ups and downs are over with and he can just have ups. If he can have a great season for them and get an extension from them, I think that he must have had a really good season. And it's just tough because he has been kind of cancerous to the team he's been on in the previous years. Now, do I blame him? Yes, because he's just not shown he's been a good locker room guy. Like, and he's going to a team that has a lot of
All
big.
the cameras, all the microphones.
I just
Hard
think
Knocks.
it's gonna be Hard Knocks too. I just think that this entire concoction that is building is not gonna end up being well. Like I just think there are too many things that can go wrong for it to not go wrong. Like he's going to be a number 2 receiver, which he has adamantly said he's a number 1 receiver in the league. And it's going to be pretty hard to be number 1 over CeeDee Lamb, who is arguably a top 5 receiver in the league.
But that could be good for him.
But that's the thing. I don't think that he's okay with that. You imagine a game where he's only getting 2 targets because it's a CeeDee Lamb game.
I mean, we've seen that.
yeah.
happen
And what
last year.
happened? What happened? And now you're in Dallas. Like, how is this not going to go wrong? I get yes, he's a good player. And when he does play good, he is a really, really good player. He's shown some crazy flashes in this league. Very good at contested catches. Like, he has shown he can play in this league. I just think it comes down to the character and whether or not it's a good fit. Now, I personally don't think it's going to work out. I think he kind of underperforms this year. It gets in his head a little bit. He starts throwing temper tantrums on the sidelines. And, I mean, Jerry's the one that brought him in, so Jerry's going to be the one to get rid of him. And he's just going to –
That's the thing, you wouldn't even have to necessarily get rid of him. Isn't he
he's
on
just
a
walking
one-year
away.
contract?
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's in a contract year
Just let him
where
walk.
this is the make or break for him. Like, if he performs, he's probably getting another contract with the Cowboys. If he doesn't, he's gone, and he's getting a lot less money than he could have been.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a make or break year for him. If he just balls out, I mean, I would be so mad because CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, I mean, that already sounds kind of scary, but, like, if George Pickens actually goes out there and performs like he should, their receiving core is going to be insanely good, which I don't want to admit, but it's just the truth. But yeah, I think that he's going to make it. I think that he's going to have a good year. I know you are worried about his locker room stuff and all the temper tantrums, but I don't think he's like Antonio Brown level of that stuff. Like, I don't think he's just going to like walk off the field or walk out on his teammates and stuff like that. So I don't think it's going to be as bad. But like I said, I think he'll have a good year, and I think he'll earn himself a contract after the year.
So I agree with JJ 100%. Literally every single thing you said, I want to say. It's not that he doesn't have the talent. Like you said, like we've seen him play where it's like this guy's an absolute baller. Like George Pickens is an absolute baller on the right day. But his attitude in the locker room and how he shuffles things around. Now, you're like that in Pittsburgh. Now you're going to be in Dallas where, like you said, you're going to be, whether you want to or not, you're going to be the number 2 to CeeDee Lamb. You really don't have a choice. You're going to be the number 2 to CeeDee Lamb. All the cameras are in your face. All the microphones are in front of you. Everything is just like times 1,000 now that you're in Dallas. I just don't see how culturally this is going to work out for him.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to cause a lot of problems in that locker room, him being there.
I agree.
So if I were to choose, I think it doesn't work out well for him in Dallas. And it has nothing to do with the talent. It has everything to do with his mentality and his attitude towards the game.
Yeah. Moving on to the offensive line. Or no, we're moving on to tight
Tight
ends.
ends.
I think me and you share the same tight end for this. We both have Kyle Pitts.
Yes.
Kyle Pitts is he's just been up and down. Like, he can't just have a consistent season. Like, he was drafted 4th overall, right?
Yeah.
This dude was projected to be
Ahead of,
Greatest.
correct me if I'm wrong, he was drafted 1 pick ahead of Jamar Chase and like 2 or 3 picks ahead of Penei Sewell.
Because he was supposed to be the best tight end.
Dude, all right,
Ever.
so coming out, when he was coming out of college, I didn't blame them for taking him
Oh,
4th
there
Oh, I
was-
overall.
loved him.
I thought he was amazing. After his rookie year, I'm be honest, I was like, all right,
this is your year 1? This is good.
I honestly didn't even think it was all that in year. Yeah, he had the yards, but he wasn't scoring. Like, I believe he had 1 touchdown. It was 1 touchdown his rookie year, and it wasn't even America. They were in Europe when he scored. He didn't score a touchdown in America
Yeah.
until his second
But
year.
he showed the flashes like he would
There was
be
flashes,
like
yes,
an all-pro
but it was
tight end.
the like JJ said, it was the inconsistencies
And
that kind of concerned me his rookie year.
the
It's
entire
been like that his entire career.
the conversation being had about Kyle Pitts has always been that they've just misused him.
Yes.
And that Arthur Smith kind of ruined him. Like Arthur Smith's a guy that's going to want to run the football.
1,000
Kyle
times, yes.
Pitts is not that type of tight end. You can't have Kyle Pitts blocking.
No.
He's
closer to a Travis Kelce.
he's more of a slot receiver. He's a glorified slot
He's
receiver.
a big receiver. Yeah.
Like you don't want him crack blocking. You don't want him lead blocking. And that's what they were having him do. And he still put up those numbers while he was doing that. Now, years move on and they have new coaches in there. Last year, I think he showed flashes with Penix in this
Yes.
quarterback. You actually get a quarterback in there that's willing to take risks on a throw over the middle
He just
or
pushes
to
the ball down the field
or-
accurately too.
That's what I'm saying. If you can get a quarterback and an offensive coordinator that is willing to use you the right way, you could end up being a really good tight end. Now, on the other hand, he is inconsistent again and doesn't show it. And I think this might be it for Kyle Pitts. And it's just so tough because you spent the 4th overall pick on
And
this
there's already
guy.
trade rumors about
I
him,
was
right?
I was literally about to say that. Like, there's already rumors about
Yeah.
him getting trade interest from other teams.
Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to add because he's the same guy?
If I were to choose whether it ends up good for him or not, I would say no, simply because we've seen Drake London really,
Yes.
step into a really talented receiver. I only expect Bijan to keep improving. He already looks really good. I feel like there's another weapon they got.
Darnell
that I miss.
Mooney?
I mean, I've been saying I think Darnell Mooney's very underrated. Like, I really am a big fan of Darnell Mooney. I just think with the weapons they have in place, like, he needs to step up, and I don't think he will because of the amount of weapons they already have around him that are outperforming him already.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't think it's going to work out that well for him.
Yeah, I think if you would ask any Falcons fan, Darnell Mooney outperformed Kyle Pitts last year. And you don't really want to hear that as a Falcons fan.
Not at all.
So I kind of agree with you. I don't think it works out. I'm a believer in Michael Penix.
Yes. I do have in my notes here, like, this is the best QB he's been with. If there's any year where it works out, it's this year.
Yeah.
It's because I have faith in Michael Penix to do
Yeah.
that.
But I'm saying no.
Yeah.
I don't trust Kyle Pitts.
Same. And he's too inconsistent.
What about you?
I think like you're saying, he has a good quarterback now. I think he can make it. Just because it's Kyle Pitts, like everyone knows the talent he has, but he really hasn't shown it recently, so it's going to be hard for him to really bounce back like he needs to. So I don't think he's going to make it either.
Who's your tight end?
My tight end is Dalton Kincaid. I don't really think this needs a lot of
He was an option for me.
doesn't really need a lot of explaining. He's just been mediocre at best.
You don't have to tell me. I know.
He's been
I
mediocre.
was very close to picking him as well.
But yeah, this is a huge year for him, especially with all the expectations for the Bills this year. I just think that he really needs to go out and ball out, but it's going to be hard because obviously you have Dawson Knox in there too. But yeah, it's just going to be a huge year for him. I don't think he's going to make it, just like all the other years he's been with the Bills. So yeah, I don't think that he's going to make it.
No, I mean, like I said, like, he was my second option. Like, I was really close to choosing him as well. I already wasn't, like, a crazy fan of his throughout the draft process. I didn't think he was worthy of a first-round pick. If I had to choose, I as well would say no, he's not really going to make a big impact this year. I feel like it's one of those players where we know what he is.
Yeah.
Like, you know what you're going to get out of him, and it's not... You don't want your number one tight end to be Dalton Kincaid.
And it's not like he showed any like flashes. Like it's not like he's showing anything crazy.
Yeah, it's like his best. It's not like when you look at his best highlights, you're blown away by them.
Yeah.
Like he could be a good tight end too, but I don't really see much else out of him.
But for a first round pick, that's
Yeah,
a crazy
definitely
expectation.
Don't want that.
This is his second. This is his third year he's
He's
going.
going into his third year.
Yeah.
He's now to be fair, he has dealt with injuries, but when he has been on the field, it has been a struggle. He was this tight end that was touted to be a guy that just doesn't drop a pass. He has struggled with drops. He has dropped multiple balls.
In the most important game of the season for you guys.
And that was the guy we were supposed to bring in to be able to make those plays.
Exactly.
Josh made it as catchable as possible.
Yeah.
The dude had 7 people on him and still threw it up and found a way to hit the guy's hands, and he dropped it.
Dropped it, yeah.
Not only do we spend a first-round pick on this guy at 26 or 7, I believe.
High 20s, yeah.
Do you know who the next tight end that was taken was?
No.
Sam Laporta.
That's rough.
We
There's
took
somebody else, too.
Dalton
Michael
Kincaid over Sam Laporta.
That's rough. That's really rough.
And Michael Mayer.
And Michael Mayer, I guess. And Brian Branch. We could have Brian Branch. There's
I remember
the names on this list. Jaden Reed. We could have had
Jaden.
Jaden Reed. We could have had
Well, yeah, but you can say
Rasheed Rice. But, like,
I don't think you want Rasheed Rice.
he's pretty good. But
I mean, he might not play
regardless,
this- he has
regardless, we
quarterbacks,
could have had Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta was picked like 7 picks later and has been just a way more consistent tight end. And it just made no sense at the time because we had just given Dawson Knox a contract.
Yeah.
Now, I'm kind of getting away from what this video is about. Yes, this is a make or break here for Dalton Kincaid, 100%. I think he does make it. I think this is the year, and I know you're looking at me like that because I'm a Bills fan. But
Yes.
this is the year that he's finally going into a season healthy, hopefully. And they addressed the wide receiver, but I don't think they addressed wide receiver enough to make me think they're not going to try to incorporate him into this offense and be a major part of this offense. I still think that's the plan for Dalton Kincaid, is to be a major part of this offense. And I know it's worked without him, but I think them trying to incorporate him in it will make them take that next step. And I think if they are able to do that, then he 100% makes it. And we win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think you're
It's
only.
that easy.
I think you're only saying that
He's
because
dreaming.
you are a Bills fan.
No.
Like I
Fantasy
think.
booking.
Yeah, I think if you weren't a Bills fan, you wouldn't be saying that he could. Like we said, even if you look at his highlights, there's nothing that you're like, oh yeah, like he could be in the top half of the tight ends this year. Like he's too inconsistent. He struggles with drops. Like, could he have a breakout year? Sure, but I'm not gonna bet on it. Like, I think we know what he is.
Like, he hasn't even shown any, like, potential for
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
strides in the future or anything like that.
Like, it's just, I think it's one of those plays where you know what you're going to get out of him. Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure you subscribe, share the video, like, comment, let us know what you would like to see us talk about.
Defensive version's coming out next week.
Tune in next week where we will do our defensive version of Make or Break Players. Follow us on Twitter at PM Football Podcast, as well as on TikTok at PM Football Podcast. And we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.